so excited to bring you this video on two brand new products. Sephora and Ulta each have their own exclusive versions of the LORAC Pro To-Go palettes, and I just lost a brush out of one of them. These are basically each kind of a variation on the LORAC Pro palette, which I think this was a smart thing for LORAC to do because this palette I know has been super popular. I've talked about it a lot. You've got a bunch of matte shades, a bunch of shimmery shades, really soft textures, very easy to work with and blend. And so I wouldn't exactly call these to-go versions like downsized because they're just different. They've got some different things than just eyeshadows in there. So in this video I'm going to explain the differences between the one that's offered at Ulta and the one that's offered at Sephora. Let me know your requests on which one of these you'd like to see a tutorial video on, but I will have some swatches in this video so you can get a really good look at what these products are all about. First off, let's talk about this one from Sephora. It's got that same texture that's on the outside of the original one, so it can kind of get dirty easily. Here's what's really neat about this. See how small it folds up? Well, it actually folds out, and this is the size of the real palette, but it's just going to fold back like that for you. And under one side, you're going to have your mirror and your eyeshadows. So here we have 6 different shadows. They are Pearl, Chai, and Mink. Those are your shimmery shades, and then you get 3 matte neutral shades. This one is Shell, Cafe, and Black. With the exception of Black, these are all different shades than what you're getting in the LORAC Pro palette. I actually don't mind that they've doubled up on the one black shade because I think black is an extremely handy shadow to have because it can double as a liner and just be really useful for you in getting a variety of looks. On the other side of this palette, you have 3 face products, which is exciting. You have a matte bronzer, a matte pink blush, and a shimmery coral blush. But you also get with this 2 mini size brushes. One is an angled brush and the other is just like a small eyeshadow brush, and I used both of these in the look you're seeing on me today. I really thought this was a palette where you could go to town with a smoky eye, but I decided to keep it a little bit lighter. I used Pearl, and I also used this ivory shade kind of in my highlight and inner corner. I used a little bit of Chai on my outer part of my lid, and then in my crease I used this shade called Cafe. And I think this is just a phenomenal shade. So glad they gave you this matte brown in here, kind of a lighter brown, and it's something that can give you the natural crease that you see I have here. Or if you're using one of these darker shades like Mink or Black in your crease, it can buff it out a little bit and give it just a softened edge. As for the face products, I used the bronzer. I first put on this pink blush, and then I layered on top of it a little bit of the coral, and that's what's giving me a little bit of sheen on top of my cheeks. I practically use that one as a highlight. So here's what it looks like all stretched out. At the bottom here it says, the makeup I use to keep my celebrity clients looking glamorous on the go, Carol Shaw. Fun fact, LORAC is Carol spelled backwards, so that's how she came up with that name, I guess. But there's how it folds down. Now this one from Ulta is very different. Instead of just being a flat palette, it actually is a little pouch here. Turn it right side up, and here's what it looks like on the inside. You have spaces for 3 brushes, which they supply in here, a mascara, and a little eyeshadow quad. The mascara is full size. It is the LORAC Pro Mascara in black. It has kind of a cone-shaped brush. It's very volumizing, kind of lengthening as well. This is your little baby LORAC Pro palette, so you can see the size comparison to the original. This has 4 shadows here. Again, they are different shadows from what you're going to find in the original LORAC Pro palette. You have Ivory, you have Rose or Rosé, you have a shade called Spice, and a shade called Aubergine. All the shades seem to have a little bit of sheen to it. For example, this shade here, Ivory, is kind of a satin finish. Rosé definitely has some shimmer to it as well, kind of a sheer pink. Spice obviously has a lot of sparkle, and Aubergine, this deep plum, has it as well. You do have a little mirror that comes with this. It's small, but it is usable. And then you get 3 basically full-size brushes. I mean, they're a little shorter than my Sigma brushes, but as far as the brush size themselves, they are all full size. I was wearing this palette, by the way, in my last video, my July Best in Beauty, and I only used these brushes with that look. So it definitely is possible for these brushes to create a a look without bringing anything else in. You have a flat shadow brush, and it actually comes to a bit of a subtle, like, point, not a real distinct point. That's great for patting your shadow on. You can also pull it up into the crease. Great crease brush. I love the size of this. This is not an oversized crease brush, but it's not too small either. So perfect for either applying a little bit of shadow to your crease or just buffing it out. Very, very soft as well on both of these. This is your angled brush, and I don't feel like this has near the softness that the other two have, and I could really feel it when I was using it the other day on my lower lash line. It's extremely stiff, and you know how soft the shadows are. All the LORAC shadows have a lot of softness to them, so you have to be very careful when you dip this into a shadow because it practically cuts down into that soft shadow. I mean, it can do the job, but it's just not my favorite liner brush. And my personal preference on these, if I were to just pick one, I would go with the one from Sephora, simply because I feel like it has more in it just makeup-wise. I really like the fact that you're getting 6 eyeshadows here. 3 of them are matte, 3 of them are shimmer. All very basic type shadows that would be great to have if you were on the go traveling. And I really think you could get a variety of looks from something fairly soft like I did today to something very deep and smoky. I really like the face products here. I love this matte bronzer. It seems like a lot of times when bronzers are thrown into kits, it's like they can't get them right. This is matte, and I think did a really nice job for contouring. I like the blushes as well. I think they're soft and pigmented. Something else that I noticed is size-wise, you look at the size of these shadows in comparison to the size of the shadows in LORAC Pro, they're quite a bit bigger as well. And I just love the construction of it. I feel like there is no wasted space in this palette. I think they made it just as small as they could and gave you still a generous amount of these face products and a generous amount of eyeshadows as well, yet it folds down and you've got a great size mirror to use. As far as this one goes, I mean, I love this little quad. I think this is really nice, but there is much more sparkle and shimmer with this little grouping here. Mascara wise, these cone shaped wands have never been a real favorite of mine. I feel like you have to use it like in the same manner on each side, and I'm not always a wrist flipper. Sometimes I will, but I kind of like to just go in that way as well. And I felt like even though I think this tube does a really good job of cleaning a lot of the product off of this brush, I still felt like my lashes were getting a little overloaded and kind of sticking together. Formula wise, I like something that's a little bit drier than that. I do enjoy the fact that they included 3 brushes that can give you the total look if that's what you want. 2 of the brushes I think are fantastic. The crease brush and the flat brush. The angled liner brush is a little bit just hard and not nearly as soft as the other 2. This Ulta version, bottom line, is just going to give you an eye look. This one is going to give you an eye look, matte or shimmer, plus you're going to get some face products as well. So this one's my favorite, but think about your own preferences, your own needs, and if you even think you need any more eyeshadow kits or palettes. I again think that the LORAC Pro is just a wonderful, wonderful palette. If you haven't tried it already, I think it has fantastic quality, lots of variety. If you don't already have it and eyeshadow is your primary focus, I would go for this above all else. But I mean, if eyeshadow and the face products are something you'd be interested in too, this is great. So that's my review on the new to-go palettes. Thank you guys so much for taking time to watch, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.